06. So we'll go back a folder, CD into 06. First we'll compile it, and then we'll run it. Okay, so you can see it just printed one word, but what this is for is you can put comments inside your code. If you put 2 forward slashes, anything you put after that won't be output to the screen. You can see how just this cout output hello to the screen. That's this guy here. So a comment is just notes to yourself. You know, as your programs get bigger, it's nice to put comments inside your code so you can remember what you did. You wouldn't comment every line of code. Usually a common place would be like above the function. Like here you would say this is the main function that starts the program, or whatever you happen to be working on. Sometimes you'll see comments after the line, you know. Then it would print this out, and then the 2 forward slashes would say, okay, ignore anything after this. It's just comments inside the code. So various ways to do the same thing. There's no right or wrong. Comments. So that's number 6, 7. Go back a folder. CD into 07. We'll compile it. Then we'll run it. Kind of the same thing. Here I'm just showing you can do the same comment twice. You can line these up as much as you want. You know, sometimes you might have lots of things that you want to make note to yourself, you know. And then 8. Here, let's clear the screen. We'll go back up to the top. Lots of guys like to just keep working down here at the bottom. I like to clear the screen and go back up to the top. So go back the screen, and then we'll CD into 08 folder. Run the compiler. Run the program. So this is also comment. This guy here, this is a multi-line comment. Just another way to do a multi-line comment. This older style, like this would start the comment, this would end the comment. This is an older style, like an older C programming comment. You'll still see it a lot. The comments where we had 2 forward slashes. You know, that's more of a C++ style here. And then this would be kind of an older style. but you'll still see both of them used a lot. You know. With this guy, you don't have to put something on every line. You know, you could just put this up here, put as many lines as you want here, you know, and then put this guy at the end. You can say, okay, this is my comment. And you can see the only thing that's printed out is the one string, this string here. Comments are fairly easy. Now we'll do 9. Go back a folder. I want to clear the screen. Okay, now we have to go into the 09 folder. And this one is named different. Do a dir to see what's inside the folder. That's this guy here. Okay, so now we'll compile it. We'll go BCC 32 and 01. And you can see this is just a C program. So you can see this one is just a C program, a .c. You know, where all these other ones were .cpp for C++. This one is just .c. It's a C programming. I just wanted to show you a real simple one here. So we use the C++ compiler to compile a C program. And then we can run it. So you can see here, it output this string with the include statement. We have standard input output instead of IOStream. And then we have printf. Printf is like an old-fashioned way to output text to the screen. And we're printing this text to the screen. So we're using the printf function. So you can see here, printf function, and we're outputting this text to the screen. You see here we have braces. Usually in C++, you normally don't see the braces. They don't bother to put the braces in, but that's a personal preference. Okay, and then 10. We'll compile it. Then we'll run it. I think I closed my folder here. CPP, no, 2 and 10. So I just wanted to show you here that you can use braces inside C++, but as a general rule, you probably won't see it. You usually just leave those out. It's just a cleaner look. But I just thought I'd throw it in there just in case you're flipping through books and you're seeing the different variations. Okay, I will upload all these files to the website, so you'll be able to download them all. I'll put them up like this, and I'll put them up as just a zip file. I'll take out all these files because that will add quite a bit of size to the folder. Now, something I wanted to show you was you can just run these by clicking on the exe. If I click on this, you can see it popped up, ran, and went away because we didn't tell it to stop. See here, we said just print this to the screen and you're done. So that's what this does. Just prints it to the screen and it's done. It goes away. So that's why we run these off the command line, because then we can see the text. Okay, and I have a lab for you if you want to experiment with some of this stuff. It's one thing to sit here and watch me run these, but until you actually sit down and start to mess around with the code, it doesn't really firm up. It would be like if you just listen to me give you a guitar lesson and you never actually pick up the guitar and start to play. So it's kind of hard to come up with decent labs. Something that's gonna push you to improve your skills, to help improve your understanding, and not make them so hard that it blows you out of the water because you don't understand what's going on. So my experience is some teachers just make the labs way too hard. And that's what makes the C++ course really difficult. So this would be a real simple lab. So lab 1, of course these are optional. It's up to you. Create a program that displays a menu in a DOS prompt. DOS prompt is just this command line stuff. Use cout to display the menu from the main function, just like we did with ours. Use cout hello world, and create a menu for a calculator. Instead of doing a calculator inside of a GUI like this is a calculator inside of a GUI. how would we do that here? Okay, so we aren't going to make it actually work, but this is just like the start of it. You know, first step is you create this output. Welcome to the program. Please choose 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, if they choose 1, they want to add a couple numbers. If they choose 2, they want to subtract a couple numbers, and so on. So we'll add to this as we move through the other videos. Usually doing a calculator program is a good exercise. You know, each week or each video will add a little bit more. You know, we might have other labs that venture off into other things, but like if we were going to approach this as a normal C++ course, you know, college course, 15-week course, if you could get a decent calculator program to work by the end of the 15 weeks, you know, that would be a pretty good accomplishment. You know, you can make them real fancy, you can make them real simple. Everybody's code will be different. There's no right or wrong, you know, as long as it works. You know, of course, some ways are better than others. One kind of odd story that I have there is one time I was taking a Visual Basic course. And I was teaching programming then, but I learned Visual Basic last because that's one of the easier programming things to learn. And I was just sitting in the back, minding my own business. And there was an older fella teaching the course, real strict kind of fella. And then during the labs, he would go around the room and check everyone's lab, and he would give out points. You know, 10 points is the most, right? He'd give you 5 points or 6 points or 7 points, you know. Well, when you're looking at somebody's code, how would you say this one's worth 6 points, this one's worth 7 points? If it works, it works. You know, we all write code a little different. You know, he's probably looking at how clean it looks, whether they added comments, or if they had other fancy things here, or they made it too complicated, you know, when it could have been simpler, you know. But I remember there was 2 people sitting up front, you know, a middle-aged white guy and a young Asian girl, and he gave her less points and gave him more points. And she just exploded. She yelled at him for 45 minutes. And she basically said, mine's the same as his. Why do I get less points? You know, he ended up giving her the points. So my point there is, we all write code a little different. You know, just like if we were going to sit down and write a short story, you know, let's say you wrote a short story about going to the store. Well, everybody's story is going to be the same, but there's going to be small differences here and there. So my point there is, don't worry about what you're actually doing with the code as long as it works. You know, there's no right and wrong. You know. And I'll do one too, so you can see what another working example would look like. You know. Not to say mine would be the best way to do it, you know, There's many different ways to do it, but this guy here, so programmers write code. Yeah, this stuff is the code. All of this stuff is the code. We compile the code. We compile the source code. This stuff is the source code, that file. This file is the source code. Fancy word, source code. Using a C++ compiler. That's the program we installed in the first video. The compiler creates an executable. Just like Word. You start up Word, Word is an executable. You're starting up Word. When we compile this program here, we're doing 10 here. We compile it. See, all we have here is our source code. When we compile it, it created these files. This is the executable .exe. That would be the most important file. We can run an exe just like any other program, which means we can click on that. You know, when you click on programs here, it's kind of the same thing as just clicking on the exe. You know. Sometimes it's a shortcut to the actual exe. So. This doesn't stay open because we don't tell it to stay open here. I'll show you how to keep these open in another video. It's actually pretty simple. So. I just want to check something here. I already uploaded this guy here, so we don't need that one. I'm going to turn this into a zip. Okay, so now that that's a zip, then I will upload both of these to, I will upload this thing to the server. And then you can download them one at a time, or you can just download the zip and get them all. So it's nice to have them like this too, because here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Something's open here. I'll upload this to the so here's C++2, I'll upload it. Okay, so that folder is up on the server. If you go to ijav.com and go into the C++ folder, you'll see both these guys. In case you're not familiar with this, this is just a Unix box. And when you just upload a folder, this is all created for you automatically. I didn't have to set that up as a normal web page. It's just the server says, okay, you put a folder up here, I'll display it. It's just displaying these two folders here. So you can go into here and you can go into here, and if you want, you can study the files like this right in a browser, like if you're at work or something, you want to check them out, you know. Or you can go to this zip, right click and go save link as, and it downloads the zip file to your desktop. Okay, so now we have this folder here. This is the folder that we just downloaded. You can right click and go extract all. Where do you want to extract it to? Saying onto your desktop. It usually goes right back to where you started it from. It's nice, just so you know, whenever you download something, it's nice to go ahead and stick that in another folder and then extract it there. Now it's saying it's going to extract to the desktop, into that folder. Okay, so here's this zip folder was extracted to this one, and here's all the programs. Sometimes if you just left these on the desktop and you didn't extract all here, sometimes depending on how the programmer set things up, it might throw 1,000 files on your desktop. It's just a big mess. So that's why, just to be safe until you see how it extracts, you know, I always stick it in another folder. That happened to me one time years ago, and ever since then I just always put things inside of a folder. Okay, I think we'll call our day there. Feel free to ask questions. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.